Hey guys, what's good? Hope y'all are doing well, and just wanted to come at y'all with another video about a watch that I've had for a little while now, and this is the Tudor Ranger. Before I get too far into it, let me start off with my customary apology. Guys, sorry for not making content, especially watch content more frequently. Life gets in the way, but I do assure you that watches are coming and going, and whenever I get a chance, I do think about it, and I'm glad to be making this video for y'all about a watch that really surprised me, a watch I really like a lot, and I'm really impressed by. In fact, I'm more impressed by this watch now that Rolex has released their new 40 millimeter Explorer. I'll explain that a little bit further in the video, but let's talk about the Tudor Ranger. This is the new one, of course. There was another one, kind of like a heritage version, but this is the new 39 millimeter Ranger. Only comes in one size, just 39 millimeters. So that's your diameter. Just a beautiful watch overall. It comes with a variety of different attachment options. This, of course, is the bracelet. The bracelet is the thing you are going to want whenever you order this watch, but it also does come on like kind of like a rubberized, leathery sort of strap, and also like a NATO style strap. Both cool. Neither of them are going to be as good as this one on the bracelet. Let's get into the bracelet because I feel like that's a big part of this watch. This is a kind of like an oyster style bracelet by Tudor. It's pretty well made. I say pretty well. It's not a Rolex bracelet, but it's pretty well made. It's far superior than to other bracelets in watches in this price range. That price range being about, I don't know, $2,800 to $3,200. But you can see that it's got screws to attach. I really appreciate that. It's got a really nice clasp mechanism. Clicks easy. So got a fold over. And crucially, it has micro adjustment. And you can kind of see in here what that micro adjustment is. They call it the T-fit system. You can see it kind of looks like a T. Here's the top and there's the bottom. And so you can kind of adjust it like this. So you kind of pull like that and you can move it like forward and backwards right there and then kind of reset it the way you want it. It works pretty well. It doesn't work as terrifically or wonderfully as people would maybe have you believe on some of the other reviews of this watch, but it does work pretty well. And to have a toolless micro adjust on a watch of this price, in this price range, and this is the quality of the bracelet. It's really solid. I think that's a nice touch. And again, the bracelet is super well made, super well done. The clasp is a little bit bulky, but not massive by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, so that's a lot of time right in the very beginning of the video talking about the lousy bracelet and the clasp, but it makes a big deal. It makes this watch a bigger deal because this clasp and this bracelet system are very different than the clasp and bracelet system on some of the other Tudors. For example, the Black Bay 58 has more of like a vintagey kind of a chintzy style, watch bracelet. It's got the, the fake rivets in there. It doesn't have the micro adjust stuff. So, the bracelet is far superior. Now, what a lot of people do is they remove this bracelet from the Tudor Ranger and put it on like a Black Bay. Cool, man. Do you. Raised sapphire crystal, a really nice touch, and a really nice case actually. 100 meters water resistant, screw down crown. Let's set the time on this thing and see how that works. I love the crowns on Tudors. Big, chunky, easy to grasp. Pops out simple. I mean, look how thick that tube is. I mean, that is awesome. This is the, I think this is the MT5402 COSC chronometer certified there. You can see the seconds hand. Beautiful sweep to that. You can see that just the edge of that seconds hand has a little bit of a red tip to it. Really cool. Typical Ranger style hands. I don't know how to describe those. Maybe spade shaped hour hand. So really cool. There's a bit of lume in that little segment on the seconds hand. So easy to hand wind. Let's set the time. I've got a reference watch here. This is just a quartz watch from some people in Japan, and it looks like it's about 1730 almost. So let's set that. Date doesn't matter. This watch doesn't have a date. It is a field watch, which is kind of like a, insert rant here. I'm a little bit tired of the term and a little bit tired of the endearment that field watches get. They're probably the most boring style of watch you can buy, but in general terms, it means a moderately sized watch with an unadorned bezel that doesn't have a date function, that just basically has hours, minutes, and seconds, and very frequently has this classic 12-9-3-6 dial layout. Like I said, boring watches generally, but I like this Tudor a lot better than some. So let's set the time. Pull out to position 1, hacking seconds, nice touch. And then double checking it, right around 1730. So easy to wind, simple. I'm not like, nothing is grinding or anything. The hands move freely. There's no play in the hand at all. So put that back in, hand starts. A few more turns. Listen to it wind, easy. Look how thick that crown tube is. I mean, I love Tudor crowns. I think that's probably the best thing about these watches. So screws in simple. I'm not winding the movement when I'm screwing in the crown. That happens on some watches, even some very high-end watches, but you don't get that with this Tudor, and there you see it. It's just a simple watch. It's not polished in any way. It's all brushed. There's just a little hint of polish right here, kind of at the edge of the bezel, but I mean, that's it. I mean, just a simple, easy, legible watch. I like the color of the lume. I would not say that it is a faux patina by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I have some watches that are legit patina. I avoid watches that are faux patina. This lume is actually very similar to the lume color that Panerai used when it first started releasing some of their Luminor submersibles. It's not brown in any way. If anything, the color is more green and yellow whenever you look at it. This is the color that's coming across on my camera is very typical of kind of the lume. You'll see it better whenever I put it on my wrist. Let me do that right now, okay? All right, so there is the Tudor Ranger 39. I'm not a big fan of like the multiple sizes of every watch. Okay, sorry, that's just like the second rant of the video. Sorry, but like, I'll tell you a company that's really bad about that, and I love the company. I have owned, and will continue to own watches from this brand, Breitling. I mean, Breitling seems to like want to make every watch in like 6 different sizes for anybody that could possibly ever want to wear it. Rolex is starting to have this problem too, though. I talked a little bit about the new Rolex Explorer. The Explorer product line has been such a head scratcher for me for a while. First of all, let's be honest. The Explorer has always been a watch. Sorry, I know this is degenerating into a Rolex Explorer rant video. Sorry, just bear with me. It has some bearing on this watch, but like I don't get what the concept of the Rolex Explorer is. For decades, it was a 36 millimeter watch, and like all watches, 36 millimeters, it wasn't quite a professional level watch, but it was kind of like the watch you got if you couldn't quite afford it or couldn't afford a sub or something like that. It's like, oh yeah, just get an Explorer. It's got those, it's got the Mercedes hands. Okay, fine, no problem. Then they came out with a 39 millimeter, which made a little bit of sense. So it's not quite a 40 millimeter professional level Explorer, but a professional level, like a Submariner or something legit. But it's a 39 millimeter watch. It's pretty big. You get a bigger face. Of course, the Rolex managed to screw that up, and they had to release 2 different versions of the Explorer. Please check out my Rolex Explorer 39 video. They had one where the hands were just criminally undersized. They rectified that mistake a few years later and released the same watch again with properly sized hands. They also ended up looming the 369 markers. Okay, anyway, like I said, I digress. So they eliminated the 36 millimeter model. So they had a 36 millimeter Explorer for decades. They scrapped that and made a 39mm model, screwed it up, remade the 39mm model. Fine. It's still the watch that you get if you can't quite make it up to like a GMT or a Submariner. Cool, I get it. And so then they scrapped the 39mm model and they went back to a 36mm Explorer. That made some sense, at least. I mean, at least they're like, hey, listen, that was a cosmic error in judgment. Let's just go with the 36mm. It's a classic. People like it. I get it. I can get behind that. And now, for literally no reason that I can think of other than they had a bunch of Milgauss cases at 40mm they had to get rid of, they make a 40mm version of the Explorer. Who's asking for that watch? Like who is clamoring for a 40mm Explorer? And they kept the 36mm also. My point being in this extended rant. Let me put this thing on. I know that's what you're here for. So let me take this this Japanese quartz watch off from a little brand called Grand Seiko. Be on the lookout for a review of this thing. GMT. Cool watch. So let me put the Tudor on. So easy. All right, where was I in my rant? Yeah, so they have a 40mm Explorer now and a 36mm Explorer. Who is buying that 40mm Explorer? Obviously, the person that can't get on a list to get a sub or a or a GMT or something. I don't get it. The way it relates, I think, to the Tudor is, listen, if you want a field-style watch by a Swiss company, this is the one to get. Listen, this watch on the secondary market goes for like, I don't know, $2,700, $2,750 on the bracelet. It's not a Rolex. Don't kid yourself. This is not like a Rolex quality bracelet. The movement is great. 70 hours power reserve. Come on. It's got the same specs, of course, as your Explorer does from Rolex, 100-meter water resistant. It's a sensible size at 39mm. I mean, it's got the same basic dial layout. It's not as like flashy as the Rolex version because it doesn't have all like the polished, and it's just a cool watch, man. It's easy to wear. I don't mind beating the heck out of it. It fits easy on the wrist. It's not too tall, but it's not too thin and like jewelry-like. You know what I mean? It's still well made. I think the finishing on the case goes a long way in giving it that essence. I think definitely getting it on the bracelet is the right thing to do. And I think Tudor just really did a good job with this watch. 39mm makes a lot of sense for a Ranger, for that kind of watch. The sub 40mm sizing doesn't make a lot of sense, conversely, for watches that are trying to be more like professional level watches, like, dive watches or something. So, Tudor has released like a unisex Pelagos. It's cool, man. I like it. I'd love to trade for one and use it as trade bait. But the 39 on the Ranger makes sense. It's a moderate size. It's a simple watch. There's not a lot going on. So the 39 makes the watch look proportional without being either too big or too small. And again, I really hope like Rolex doesn't release like a, they did this with the Yachtmaster too. So there's like a 37mm Yachtmaster, and then there's like there's a 40mm Yachtmaster. Of course, now there's like a 42mm Yachtmaster. So again, even Rolex has this problem of like making the same watch in like 3, 4, 5 sizes, and it makes it confusing, I think, for people about which watch is the one to buy. It really devalues some of the models. And I think that's the larger issue. So yeah. Sorry. This video is kind of like gone off the rails, but I hope you like this look of the at the 39mm Tudor Ranger. I really like the watch, man. It's easy to wear. It's inexpensive. You get a lot of great technology, including the bracelet and the clasp, at a very reasonable price. $2,700 for a 70-hour power reserve, 100-meter water resistant, 39mm case, stainless steel, excellent bracelet, terrific build quality, field watch from a Swiss brand. Yeah, man, I'm there all day. I think the value is definitely there. And I mean, I'll be honest, looking at all of Tudor's offerings, you know, having had Tudors like the Black Bay and everything, I think I would go with the Ranger. It's less expensive. It gives you a lot of good stuff. And there's very little downside in getting one if you're at like $2,700, $2,800. Guys, I hope you like this quick look at the Tudor Ranger 39 millimeter. Cool watch, man. I mean, I really like it. I wear it a lot, and it's an easy watch to wear. Has a lot of tech, has a lot of value for the money, which is kind of getting hard to say when it comes to a lot of watches nowadays. All right, guys, I am sorry for the delay again between content. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was entertaining, and look forward to making some more content for y'all real soon, including maybe a video of this Japanese quartz GMT watch I bought. All right, guys, take care. God bless. Bye.